Hello, everyone. I'm Tad Bradley from the Kusina Collection, the North American sales rep for Ultimate Safaris in Namibia. Thank you so much for joining us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be, for this webinar on Namibia's green season. I'm joined by Birgit Becker, the Marketing and Sales Director from Ultimate Safaris, all the way from Windhoek. And I'm going to hand things over to Birgit to take us through all of the new green season packages that Ultimate Safaris has just released, and to give us some of the top reasons why you would want your guests to travel to Namibia during the green season, which is often an overlooked season. And Birgit's going to break down some of those misperceptions and give you some great data for how you can sell the green season to your clients. So Birgit, over to you in Windhoek.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's definitely dark and sunsetty now here, sunny and warm and dry. And yeah, this is a very last minute pitch of why traveling in the green season. It kind of just happens, these things come to you at 3 a.m. in the morning. But I realized that, the green season in Namibia is still not appreciated for what it is. Everybody talks about, peak season, high season. A lot of Namibian operators don't offer a green season special. And then we've got guides twiddling their thumbs and getting into trouble. So we wanted to remind everybody why come to Namibia. Tad is my wingman. He does the presentation. So if I talk a bit fast, if there's a lag on the presentation, it's faster on his side because, of course, US internet's way faster than African internet. But yeah, what's it about Namibia green season? It sounds people are very suspicious. Green season, really good specials. That means it can't be a really good time to come. So we want to talk about why it is a good time and it's not just a marketing pitch. And yeah, of course, have ice cream in the desert. What better reasons do you need? Cool off with the best beer in Africa, the Namibian Windhoek beer. Have some ice cold gin and tonic. We have some artisan gin. And if that's not enough reason, we hear that the Northern Hemisphere at the moment has some pretty bleak winter times. Ice cold France, grey drizzle in the UK. So come to Namibia, get over this, what do they call it? Seasonal affected disease, depression or whatever, sad. Get some UV light, get some tan, brag to your friends who probably have all this bleak white legs, come to Africa for that. We guarantee sunshine in Namibia, and for our Southern Hemisphere friends in Australia and New Zealand, I'm sure you have the same kind of Christmas experiences that we have here, very hectic with family and it's stressful and you plan for Christmas and you eat too much. So why not come in January? I hear Australia has very longer summer holidays that extend well into January, and escape your family gossip and have an anonymous holiday where no one knows you and you have no family strife. What more do you need to come between January and March to Namibia? And of course, it's not as hot as a lot of people say. Yes, it's hot, 30 degrees Celsius summer, but I'm sure you'll appreciate getting a bit of warmth in your bones again. Now, second one, avoid the crowds. It's a bit of a relative term considering Namibia is the second least densely populated country in the world. But when people ask me when not to come, I usually say, August. I know it's peak season and that's why you don't want to come. The whole point of Namibia is to get away from the masses of people. So August, while it still has some good moments to come, you share your waterholes with Italian self-drivers, German families, and European bus groups and everybody else. And Namibia is all about getting away from it. I mean, and most of your guests, most of you live in cities that probably have twice as many people as we have in the entire Namibia. And January to March is the one time where the lodges are quite empty, which is a good thing. You don't have to pay for exclusive use of a lodge. You just have it probably with another couple who can be your best friend at the end of your journey. But it really is about getting away from it and experience the desert the way you're supposed to, away from the mad dash of mass tourism. Then, of course, the third most obvious reason for us is the rains. In Namibia, that is a good thing. We don't have this gray, depressing, consistent drizzle day in, day out. We guarantee sunshine even in the rainy season. Usually it's a cloud buildup and it starts around, morning, late morning, it builds up. Then mid-afternoon, this spectacular thunder shower comes pouring down. An hour later, it's all done and the sun comes down for a spectacular sunset. And if you're really lucky, nothing is as cool as standing in this dry river and suddenly seeing this trickle of water coming. And next thing you know, you have this brown torrent of river coming down and 3 hours later it's gone again, and all you have left is a muddy pool. It is so worth it for us Namibians. When it happens in our town, we pack a picnic basket, we sit next to this river, and we wait for the water to come down. That's an actual thing we do in the city. Yes, we don't have a big social life, but I'm just saying rain is good. Then another thing that is quite special is the Skeleton Coast is actually really good to visit January to March. Now, I always tell people, why do you think all these ships wreck on the Skeleton Coast? It doesn't happen on clear sunny skies. It happens because it's foggy and visibility is poor, and these blustering winds churn up the ocean, and these rocks, these ships are suddenly blasted onto the rocks. It's quite dramatic, but it's also quite unpleasant when you're on a holiday and you're facing these blustering winds. But January through to March, actually, it kind of simmers down. The fog disappears. You have sunnier days, less windy. Of course, I can't guarantee this. Weather is unpredictable. But actually, that time is really pleasant. And if you have guests that are sensitive to the heat, you have wonderful 20 degrees Celsius temperatures in Skeleton Coast. So this is the one time you want to go there and really enjoy it for what it is without too much discomfort. Then another really special thing is it's the season of bounty. Suddenly you have all these trees erupting in green leaves. You have yellow and purple flowers everywhere and baby animals. You know, this picture is by Olven Evans. She's taken it on Gaba Lodge. She's New Zealander, but honorary African. She lives in Zimbabwe. She comes to Namibia regularly. But it's really that everything is just so alive in Namibia. And you have to understand that after the drought that we're currently going through, it is just so nice to see everybody well fed, plants, animals, everything's just lush. And then with, of course, the added, rains and stuff like that, it does mean calving season. And yes, that means, heightened predator activities. This is a typical green season picture. Look at the yellow flowers, and it's green and lush. And if you're very patient, you might just see some really heightened activities because of all the young ones there. People say they want to see a kill. You don't really want to see one when there's a baby, but you also see a lot of baby animals around this time, which again adds to the specialness of coming in the green season. Then also an animal that really comes to life is birding season. Now, Namibia's endemics tend to be quite plain and brown and bland. But then come January to March, we have all these exotic visitors coming us with really hot and sexy birds from the northern hemisphere migrating to Namibia, adding the splash of colors. You've got all these birds in this breeding plumage just overnight transformed into this luscious paradise bird just to get lucky. For birders, that's actually when they come, January, February, March through to April, because that's when they have a greater diversity of birding happening in Namibia. Then another thing that, it happens a lot is we have more antelope species that congregate together. We will never have the thousands of wildlife species or animals together in herds like East Africa and Botswana. We don't have major migrations. But we do have a healthy population of zebra hanging out with the wildebeest, hanging out with the springbok. So you have these stunning landscape pictures of dramatic cloud cover in the distance, and these plains are just full of herds of different animals. And again, the perception of, around the dry season, you have the waterhole being pretty interactive, absolutely. But in the rainy season, you tend to have a bigger cluster of animals together when you see them on the plains. Another really cool reason to go. Now, we are currently just at the end of winter. It's been very dry and dusty. Oh my goodness, I can't even wash my car because it's just dust everywhere. The sky has this brown murk every time some windstorm comes. I mean, the wilderness just the other day, 2-3 weeks ago, announced that little Kulala again endured some dust storms. Oh, misery. Well, I'm exaggerated, but it's pretty dusty right now. When that first rain comes, it just rinses everything off and takes that dust out of the skies. You have this crisp, clear blue skies. Stargazing is exceptional. Everything's just so fresh. Sunsets are amazing. And most of you coming from city and smog, January to March, come and breathe fresh air. Namibia is all about taking a step back and just take a deep breath. So for us Namibians, this is a spectacular time to come. Now, landscape photography is at this time, January, March, April, just spectacular. This is my own picture. I'm not a photographer. Yes, I played around with filters a bit, but actually really minimal. This was a typical rainy season photo in Damaraland. That cloud cover can give you the most spectacular sunsets. This happened moments after the sunset. It was unbelievable because after rain, everything also feels fresher. Your pictures come out so much more intense. So landscape photographers, when they said, when do we come? I said, this is the time. January, March. And then, of course, you have no crowd, so you don't have any stupid tourists blocking your stunning landscape views. You really don't have to edit anybody out afterwards. So these are one of the 10 reasons. And the 11th reason, the best reason of all, oh my goodness, we Namibians are such a good mood about the rainy season. Yes, we're having a drought now. You know, we're a desert country, so generally drought is part of life, but it's been especially hot this year. We didn't have a good rainy season at the beginning of this year. And Namibians, you should see the whole personality of us changes when it rains. You know, even if we're not farmers, everybody's suddenly well behaved, in a good mood, polite. You know, you don't complain in traffic. Everybody's in such a cheerful mood. And if people ask about how the drought is affecting Namibia and tourism, drought affects our cattle farming. Cattle farming is a big industry in Namibia. We do have a lot of underground water, so don't worry, your guests will not be deprived of drinking. The pools are still full. We have covers on top of the pools to avoid evaporation. We have showers. We feel too guilty taking baths, but that's been a legacy thing. Namibians just shower nowadays. So your experience is still very good here. We had to feed a lot of grazers. I have been to lodges where they never fed animals, but now we have to put grazing out for white rhinos. We don't want to lose them, which means you have to feed them. So we need the rains because that grass is life to us. Cattle farming is impacted the most. Tourism isn't as much, but honestly, no matter what, we really need the rain. And what a great way to experience really good natured people is during that time. And when we talk about the weather and the rain, it's not small talk in Namibia. That's a sincere topic. We can have whole life and death as philosophy around rain in Namibia. I'll just explain the weather a bit. Green season, it means, yes, it's the rainy season. It usually starts mid-January, lasts until about April. As I mentioned, it's not daily grey drizzle. We might have 2-3 days of good rains, then again another week or two of no rains. It is hot. We guarantee sunshine even in our presumed rainy season. So the weather is hot, mornings between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius, building up to 30, mid-30 degrees Celsius by early afternoon. Luckily, when the sun sets, it's usually cool. If there's a wind breeze, you can always manage it. There are many lodges that have air conditioning for guests that are more sensitive. Our own cars have air conditioning as well. So if you do a guided tour of us, you have that comfort. So there isn't a better or worse time to come in January. You are not missing out coming now versus if you came in May, if you understand what it is all about. If wildlife is the only reason you want to go and it's all about the dry water-hull interaction, sure, June, July, go, but you pay higher prices. And the landscape is actually prettier now than in a dusty winter season. There's so many options to do, but we wanted to prepare some packages for you. We've got 8 packages we presented, just to give you an idea of just the special deals you get on this. So for example, this 11, 12-day Namibia guided tour of our ultimate guides, visiting all the highlights of Sossusvlei, Swakopmund, Damaraland, Etosha, Okunjima. It's nearly half the price of when you go in a high season. You know, $3,500 give or take for 4 people. That's an amazing deal for what is pretty much an all-inclusive safari. And you know, when you're worried about not seeing wildlife, if you do a guided tour, our guides know the good spots. Even in the rainy season, they will try to find you their wildlife. And you know, they have among themselves a secret WhatsApp group. So they'll tell leopard here, they'll tell the other person saying, you know, we've got some insider knowledge of where the good stuff is. Birding, of course, is exceptional. So when the guided tour, and our cars don't get stuck in river systems, we don't get lost. So this is absolutely a no-brainer. Then another package that we presented, put together, is a combination flying and guided. This is another one we love doing. We know that traveling in Namibia is pretty intense by road, you know, traveling for 2 weeks and by roads and stuff like that. So we do a combination flying and guided tour. So we do parts of Sossusvlei fly, and have the Camp Guide host there. Then we do the northern Namibia by road. That's where our guides can shine and find you the wildlife sightings. This is just over 4,000 US dollars per person. Again, an amazing deal for if you look at what you pay in the high and the low season starting April. So if you compare April and March, the weather's the same, climate's the same, experience the same, but just arrive a few days earlier, travel in March, and you get an amazing deal. Then another thing we do a lot is self-drive. I know a lot of people didn't realize. They say, oh, you offer self-drive. I say, yeah, of course, absolutely, for the right kind of budget, and self-drive trips, 2,400 US dollars per person, an amazing deal. You can independently travel. We've also included activities of things that you must do, or Consumer Bush Camp with the African Foundation. In the rainy season, we tend to suggest 4x4s, but the Group P Duster gets actually a pie with most lodges. So yeah, it's an amazing deal of what you can do in Namibia. And again, nearly half the price of peak season, but you absolutely have the roads to yourself. For some, that's daunting. For others, that's exactly what they're looking for. Then another trip I talked about is the best of Skeleton Coast, Dammerland, Tosha. I spoke about Skeleton Coast. Oh my goodness, we absolutely have to do this. We do this whole tour with our guide. He drives up to Shipwreck Lodge. Whilst at Shipwreck Lodge, your guests are hosted by the lodge itself, that then reconnect with the guests at Juana Valley. And then at Juana Valley, we take guests around. We take them around to look for desert-adapted animals like rhino and lion and elephant. Our guide takes you to Dammerland. We go to Tosha, where game drives with Ongava Tent Camp are also included on the reserve. And if you look at this, Skeleton Coast has always been an expensive option. It's remote. Traveling there will take you most of the day. But then it's 7,600 plus US dollars. Considering that a flying safari is usually about that price for 3 nights, it's an amazing deal. And again, the weather is so good to go there. It's well worth going there. Then for people less time, let's say they want to combine Namibia with South Africa or Botswana, by all means, we've got these week-long packages as well. This is a combo. We drive and up. So our guide drives the guests up to Shipwreck Lodge, and at Juana Valley, he's there, and then guests fly out. So it's pretty much the best of Northwest. If someone asks me, I have limited time, what do you suggest in Namibia? I go, Northwest, Skeleton Coast, Dammerland, desert adaptive wildlife. Get away from it all. There are dunes, there's culture, there's desert adapted wildlife. This, for me, has always been the no-brainer. And here you guarantee to get away from the tourism masses. For other guests looking more wildlife specific, even the rainy season, we have a week-long package that focuses on Etosha, eastern and southern side, African Foundation. Africa, for example, even the rainy season, have a very good chance of seeing predators. Predators are less likely to be worried about, green season or not, unlike grazers and browsers. So this is, again, this amazing deal, 3,000 US dollars for a week in Namibia, go to Botswana, go to South Africa afterwards. It just absolutely links well. Then we do also a lot of flying safaris. And our best of Namibia flying safari includes 3 nights at the newly opened and beyond Sossusvlei Desert Lodge. We stayed there a few weeks ago. Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely a flagship lodge of and beyond now. You get ballooning included. Just note ballooning is closed from mid-January to mid-February. Otherwise, absolutely ballooning over the desert. Go to Mowani Desert Adapted Elephant with the lodge camp. It's all flying safari and ended on Gava. Rhinos, wildlife. Again, this is a green season pictures, and you still see the rhinos. It's absolutely exciting. At what, 5,700 US dollars? An amazing deal. And then lastly, our Journey Smith Choice. Why is it Journey Smith Choice? It literally has what we think is really cool, a week-long flying safari. Well, it's 10 days actually, to the New and Beyond with ballooning, to the Skeleton Coast, which is just absolutely rocking for that time of the year. And then some Ongava tented camp. Birding is excellent, wildlife is fascinating. This one goes at 7,000 US dollars. Again, but compared to what you usually pay in the high season for very little experience differences, that's not just a marketing spiel. It's kind of a no-brainer. I know it's all lastminute.com. Surprisingly, we are still getting people asking for the green season. Everybody's waking up now, realizing, oh, I've got some extra leave and I start late, or this and that. definitely if someone asks you April versus March, we say come in March, way cheaper, same experience. And then also, for all these reasons noted above, we have PDF packages of all these itineraries. I'm happy to send them to you. Of course, we tailor make them. All the lodges here we've partnered with and have specifically worked on green season specials. So Natural Selection worked with us, and the Ongava collections, the Moroshara, Camp Kipwe, Okonjima, they all see the need going, oh my goodness, absolutely, would love to host more people there. They're missing out if they don't come now. And an amazing deal. And that is it from sunny Namibia.
Thank you, Birgit. Wonderful presentation showing us the best of the green season in Namibia. I have a couple questions, and then if anyone online has questions, you can enter them into either the chat box or into the Q&A module as well. So I think we do need to clarify, I don't think stated this, or if you did, I missed it, but the dates of the green season specials for next year, when are they actually valid?
They are from mid-January through to end of March. A lot of lodges still have a festive season surcharge until about 10, 11 January. So basically from 12 January onwards till the end of March, these specials apply.
Perfect. And then you had mentioned in those 2 Skeleton Coast packages with the overland drives up from the Strand Hotel in Swakopmund up to Shipwreck Lodge. And I think a lot of folks that are familiar with that part of Namibia will know that that's a long trip, but I know that Ultimate has some things planned to make that into a real day activity versus just a long drive. And I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit more about the plan for that particular excursion up the Skeleton Coast to the shipwreck.
Yes. Because shipwreck at the moment, the challenges are there are no direct sea trade. So you have flights going via Juan via this, and the surcharges are so expensive, and the private charter is just expensive. And we thought, okay, we know that coastline. There are some cool spots to stop along the way. There's a shipwreck Zelia, which is it's about 10 years old, but it's really cool to see it. It's like this cormorants perching on the shipwreck. Of course, the Cape Cross Seal Colony, we stop along that way. There are lichen fields along the way there. We do a whole picnic brunch setup. So as before, everybody just kind of motors up there, drives all the way through. We try to really make it into an experience. It is a long drive, but if it's at the beginning of people's trips, and they usually go, oh, okay, this is pretty exciting because you don't know what you had to expect. The landscape keeps changing. And then so it adds to that feel like I am really going to the middle of nowhere. And that's why we put it in there. When you have to go all the way back on that, then I would say, oh my goodness, that's frustrating. So that's why we go from there to Huana Valley by the Huarisip, which Shipwreck does. So then people are always, of course, more understanding on a long road because you don't have to go back that way.
Gotcha. Great points. And we'll actually have more on that particular excursion and the Skeleton Coast and Cocoland in general in the next webinar that we do in our deep dive series, which will be focused on that region. Is availability a problem for 2020 is a question that just came in. And I'm not sure if that's regarding green season or in general, but maybe you could address where availability looks in both the green season as well as peak season currently.
Yeah. It's such a frustration because yes, in August is a traditional family holiday. So if you have a family of 7 and you now want to find something in August and you're particular about your dates, we're going to have some challenges. Some months like May, surprisingly busy. June is filling up. August, September is filling up. Most of the time when we tell people, are you flexible with the dates? If you arrive 2 days later, we can usually make something happen. Give us time, be patient. If you have your destination set and you need to see Serikafema, generally Serikafema's availability is not a problem. Some like crunch period places where you just have 1 or 2 options in that area, you might be more limited. But no, generally 2020 looks really good, and January to March is absolutely good.
That's the advantage to the green season dates and months, of course, is that availability shouldn't be a challenge. So if you have guests that are really keen to see Namibia, but they have some flexibility, I think looking at the green season where they basically have the pick of the lodges, of the best lodges in Namibia without availability challenges, it's a real advantage to that particular season. Another
Yes.
question: package rates are based on 4-packs. Do you have rates based on 2-packs?
Yeah, I mean, look, we tailor make them accordingly. You know, sometimes we try to get that lead-in price sweet, and we try to prepare packages that might work with small groups and others with that. But yeah, I mean, we can, if you have one, not all of them are based on 4-packs. Quite a few are based on 2-packs. So happy to relook at some for 2-packs. Just let us know which one you need.
We'll send out to all of those that registered. We'll send the packages that we've discussed in the webinar today, as well as more of these sales points for how you can sell the green season to your guests, and as well as a recording of this webinar. So if you missed anything, or if you want to share it with any colleagues, you'll have the opportunity to do that. One more question: what about the Easter weekend? Does this get full up from local? Easter's in April, so it's going to be already in those peak season or shoulder season rates for
Yeah, that's going to be shoulder season rates. You know, again, families want to come and stuff, and they're always a little bit frustrated again if you have a family of 5, but we usually tend to manage. We found that the more easily accessible areas for locals is Etosha, Swakopmund, and Sossusvlei. So then we are very clever. Then maybe we throw Dammerland over the Easter weekend and then end in Etosha just after that, you know, because then you don't have that. Namibians like to go to places that are easily accessible for just a short, quick weekend, which is Etosha and Sossusvlei and Swakopmund. But again, it's absolutely manageable. It's just, you know, you want to plan now. What are you doing next Easter? Now's a good time to start thinking about it.
The great thing about your team is they will always make a plan and find a way to make something work within reason, of course, but very creative consultants and with the ability to rabbits out of hats in amazing ways. So never hesitate to come through with a question, even if you think it's going to be a busy season. But again, looking at the green season, now is the time to get your marketing out to your databases for this particular season. Obviously, for North Americans, it's a bit last minute, but some of these deals are for Namibia are just extraordinary. So I encourage you all to get them out to your clients, especially if they've been interested in Namibia in the past, but price point was a concern or availability was a concern. And Jenny, you're always welcome in Namibia. So, okay, so I think that's all the questions we have, Birgit. We'll let you get on with your evening. And thank you so much for working late on your side. And we will send out this recording and those additional details and packages later on today or tomorrow. So thank you all for your time today. Great rest of the day. Bye, Birgit.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.